Hi, I'm Nico. When composing with virtual pianos, you more or less have two choices. Or you can go for a very ultra-realistic performance, and for that there are many sample libraries out there that will help you do just that. Actually, many of them sound better than an average real piano. Or you can go for something that sounds good and, pleasing to the ear. But you may have to forget a bit about the realistic part. For example, you can absolutely get rid of the noise produced by the keys or by the pedal up, pedal down, that kind of stuff. If you have some overtones that don't quite sit in your mix, you can also get rid of them. You can increase the different aspects or different characteristics of a piano, all of that to get a sound that is pleasing to the ear. And when I do that, when I choose to go for the nice sounding, pleasing sounding rather than the realistic performance, what I like to do is to layer several piano libraries together. And this comes with, I would not say challenges, but a few things that you have to know when doing it, and this is what we are going to explore in this video. So let's look at that right now. Right, before I start to build my layers, I quickly sketched a few bars of piano. This is actually part of my workflow when searching for new sounds. That's because when I'm tweaking and adjusting stuff, I don't want my hands to leave the mouse and my key commands. So by having a quick track ready, I can just play and pause when needed. As you can see, there is nothing complicated here. It's just a few chords in the key of D minor because, well, Hans. And to do this, I've used one of my go-to pianos. It's Noir by Native Instruments. And you know what? Let's have a quick listen to my sketch. Okay, so why layering? Noir sounds just fine, but this is not the tone that I want. This is not the sound that I have in my head right now. I would really like to have something that is both deep and detailed. It's quite hard to find a sample piano with these two qualities at the same time. And on top of it, I wouldn't mind to have some kind of sparkly synthetic layer. Okay, so let's build. The first thing that I will do is to add a contact instance. I already have some buses ready. One is called keys. So I will take I will take a piano that will be used for the deep part, and I have just the one for this. It's the Giant. Many of you have it because it comes with complete. I don't have complete. I bought the Giant ones when Native Instruments had a sale, and I've tweaked a preset. It's based on the emotional snapshot, but I've changed the tone a little bit. So first thing that we will do, actually the very first thing would be to name it before we get completely lost. I will mute the sketch, move the sketch to here, and listen to how it sounds on its own. doesn't sound bad at all, but as you've heard, yeah, it's a really deep and warm sounding piano, but it's not very detailed. I still want to bring something in the high ends. This I could do with an EQ, of course, but the whole goal here is to create a new piano actually. So what I will do is add a second contact, and it went on the other screen. There I will take another one that comes with complete. It's a very popular piano. It's probably my favorite one. It's called the Grandeur. Now, if I just take it like this out of the box, it should be quite fine, but pay attention if you have, if you can tweak the piano that you use, you want to check things like, for example, the release samples here. These I will turn them off because we are going to use the release samples from the Giant. I don't want to mix them both. It's the same for the noises that come with like the hammer or the pedal, the string and everything. Everything here is turned off. Same for the resonances. I will turn them off because if I leave them on, and they are also on the Giant, it will sound like crap because we will have the sound of two pedals, we will have the sound of two hammers and all that, and it's not going to sound really good. One thing that I want to do, because we will use this one for the definition, is I will just tweak the tone a little bit to go here on the hard side of the color wheel rather than on the soft side. And if you wonder why I'm doing it this way, it's because I've already done it before and I know it's going to work. Alright, so let's name this one the Grandeur. I love when English speaking people try to say grandeur. It always sounds super funny. And this is how a grandeur would sound on its own. Okay, great. So this is very detailed, but it's not warm, it's not deep. There is actually a preset in Grandeur that is called Deep Grandeur, and that sounds very nice, but it's also sounding very muddy, and I'm always spending tons and tons of time on EQing it. Now, if I try to play both of them at the same time, we will face a few problems that we are going to fix. Now it starts to sound good, but there is a lot of mud, there is a lot of overlap. So I only want to use Grandeur nearly as if I was setting a close microphone to the Giant, right? So the first thing that I will do is tweak the volume a little bit, because the Grandeur sounds way too loud compared to Giant, so let's do that. There, volume is good. Now there is one more thing that I hear. It's there is too much overlap in the low mid frequencies. So I'm just going to put an EQ on grandeur. Let me solo it and play it, and I will just add a low cut. There, you see, I got rid completely of everything that comes below 180 hertz, more or less. So we really keep the high part and the detail. And one more thing is this whole area between 300 to more or less 500 sounds muddy when layered with the giant, which is already a very warm piano. So I will just take about 2 dBs of, just in between here. And that's it, I think, for the layer of the pianos. Let's give it a listen. We are going somewhere. We are not done, absolutely not, but it's already starting to sound good. Now, I mentioned that I wanted some kind of sparkly layer on top. So what I would usually do is I would load a synth like Omnisphere or Seron, Zebra, whatever, and use that synth to act as yet another layer. But I have a quick trick here. I will add one more contact, and I have this piano which is called Woodchester piano. It's not an expensive piano, but it sounds really nice. It's a felt piano, and the twist on this felt piano is that it comes with synths already, with a layer on top of it. So what I can do is that I can let the pedal, key release, reverb, all that we don't need, because we are going to add our own reverb in a minute. And the raw here, this volume here is the volume of the actual piano, and here we have the volumes of the different layers. So I'm just going to turn off the raw piano. Let me solo, I think, these two, because this cloud synth here is a bit too much. So, I will rename this to something like atmosphere, and just listen to it. It's nice. So now everything together. I'm just tweaking the atmosphere as I go. Okay, let's try this with the other two. Not bad. And one more thing that I will do is this layer on top. I will just increase a bit its stereo field, but just a bit, you know, nothing extreme. Perfect, we are going somewhere. So now obviously it's not super wieldy to have to duplicate a track each time 3 times. So what I do usually is I select the first instrument, I add a track, MIDI track. I will call this MIDI track custom piano. Let's put it here on top. Make sure that it's set on MIDI channel 1. And now if I play something on it, you see the giant response, because here the MIDI input will output to the output routing of this MIDI track is the giant. But what I can do is I can go to the MIDI sounds here, and I can also choose to send the MIDI to the grandeur and also send the MIDI to the atmosphere track. And now if I drop my sketch on this custom piano track, let me color it. For me, pianos are blue, that's how I see them. And here in a folder we will call this custom piano VSTI, and there we go. Now if I play this, all of these 3 should play together. Perfect. So now I can just use this MIDI track and forget about this whole business of duplicating tracks. Right, so let's move on. As I said, you know, I already have some stuff here in my template. We don't need to see them. This one we don't need it, and this one we don't need it either. Come here, and why can't I hide it? Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, don't worry, we just have the keys here, so all the 3 contact instances are routed to it. The keys goes to this sum bus, the sum goes to the mix, and the mix goes to the master. You can see that I have a limiter here on my stereo output. This is just so that you can hear something in this video without me having to fiddle with the fader. Anyway, okay, so this bus, the first thing that I will do is to add a multiband compressor to it. I'm using a preset from Pro MB. It's the FabFilter multiband compressor. It's called punch and leveling, and that's exactly what I want. Right. Now, to add a bit of grit and a bit of warmth to my piano, I will also add a bit of saturation. I will keep it on the A setting here, because the E setting will boost the high frequencies too much and it's not going to sound good. So let's have a try. Okay, so what I've done is that I just increased the drive to about 3, and here you can see the mix. A quick tip with Decapitator: if you right click on any of the knob, you can see the actual value of the knob. Here I've decreased the mix to 90% because I just want to keep a bit of the dry signal, so the signal without saturation, and I will play it and randomly turn it on and off, so you can see what it's doing to my piano. Okay, so it adds quite a bunch of harmonics, and yeah, this is nice saturation. I like it. It makes this piano a little bit richer, and in doing this, I've lost some high ends, so I could use an EQ and boost the high hands again, but what I will do is that I will use just a tad of OTT. So let's do this. Sorry. Okay, cool. So we have saturation, a bit of OTT, the multiband compressor. I still think I need to get rid of some frequencies that bother me. Again, I could do it with an EQ. I will use Soothe to do that, so I will do this quickly. Here. Yeah, that sounds like crap. So I'll just increase it a bit. There, it's a tad clearer. Now let's move to everyone's favorite subject, reverb. And in my template, I already have an EQ coming before my reverb, and I already have a reverb unit set. And I'm not going to use this one actually, because what sounds really good, I find, again, it's a personal taste, but what sounds really good on a piano is a plate reverb, and for that I'm going to use my favorite plate reverb. It's the most simplistic of them all. It's called Little Plate by Sound Toys, the same team making Decapitator actually. 3 seconds is a bit much, right? So let's move it to around 2 seconds. And here I already have a default EQ for my reverb bus. It's my starting preset if you want. What I'm going to do, because this is piano only, the hit of the key, the snap comes at around 4K, so I'm going to heavily decrease. Whoa, not that much. yeah, about 5 dB, 6 dB or so at 4K. So this is for the reverb. Let me just solo the reverb so we can listen to how the reverb on its own sounds. And it sounds like nothing because I forgot to do a send. So let's send to the reverb tail. Again, for a piano, I know that based on these settings, about -10 dB will be about just right. So let's listen to the reverb. Yeah, it's not too aggressive. I like it. Plate reverbs just sound nice on pianos. And that's about it. Yup. So here I've built my custom piano. It's a quick layer. You've seen my process to approach this, and now let's listen to the final result. Voila, that's all there is to it. If you want a quick comparison, let's listen to Noir. I really like this piano, but again, it's not at all the tone that I was looking for. So let's listen to Noir. Okay, and now let's listen to my custom piano. Yeah, okay, that's it. So now would be a good time to stop watching videos and go build some custom pianos.
Hey, by the way, do you know about Composing Tips? It's an online platform for composers where you will find tips and tricks, tutorials, reviews, and a great community where you can share your questions and your music. On composingtips.com, you can also download the project files, MIDI exports, and stems from my videos. Oh, and it's entirely free, so register today.